From Reminder Media, this is Stay Paid, a sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals and retain more business. Hosted by the VP of Marketing, Josh Stake, and Reminder Media's president, Luke Acree. So get ready to hear the golden nuggets that will allow you to live a life of freedom tomorrow, but only if you take action today.
For anyone who's listening to this, I want you to head on over to YouTube. I want you to go to staypaidpodcast.com. I want you to see this shirt that Luke Acree is wearing today.
Yeah, my Surfing Santa shirt. This won't come out anytime around Christmas.
Yeah, we're recording this the week before Christmas, but this is coming out in March.
It's like a Hawaiian Surfing Santa shirt. It's really, this is going to become Stay Paid, the style podcast.
It is. Last week it was the shoes.
Yeah, last week your boots.
Yep. This week it's the Surfing Santa.
And your socks. Although your hand's covering it up.
Yeah, I always am very careful with the socks I choose on Stay Paid days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta make sure
I got to tell you about, I got to open up everybody knows if they've been following along in our journey, they know, hey, I was in accounting for a while. Now I'm back out on the sales floor. Right. And so I love the sales floor so much more than accounting. Let me just state that for the 100th millionth time. Accounting for some reason kills me. Sorry to all my accountants that might listen to this. Accounting just freaking kills me. But sales energizes me. So I'm back out on the sales floor making phone calls. In fact, Andrea, our marketing person, social media person, she's sitting with me. She's tied in, listening to me make some phone calls. And I get this guy on the phone. And I want to share this with you because it just really teaches you kind of about sales a little bit. But I get this guy on the phone named Sear, and I'm pitching him and get all the way down to the credit card to ask him to sign up and order the product and sign up with us. And he says he doesn't have his credit card. So I kind of make him laugh. Oh, I know you have it memorized. Go ahead and give me off of memory. He starts laughing. Then I asked him for a check. And I said, we take checks. But what's so interesting here, right, is where most salespeople at this point, what happens to us is you give up at this point. And you're not digging for what the real objection is. 9 times out of 10, when someone tells me they don't have their credit card, 9 times out of 10, just being real with everybody, it's usually their way to...
Of not saying no.
Well, it's to let you down softly. They're too nice of a person to tell you no.
Yep.
So they need to come up with something that there's an objection hidden there. There's something hidden there. So I literally just go to this guy, and Andrea's listening. I just go, hey, Sear, can I just be really direct with you? Look, 9 times out of 10, man, when someone tells me they don't have their billing information, it usually is because they're not sold. They're not sold on the product, and there's something holding them back. And I just want to ask you right now, what's holding you back? Because as we talked, and I talked about, oh man, you believe in this, you see value in this, and then went and said, look, this is like my listing presentation. And I'm sharing with you, just like you at your listing presentation, want to earn that client's business. You can sell that home. You have your system and your plan. And I go through this whole thing. And I said, look, I'm just looking for you to give me a chance. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm looking for you to go on one date with me. And I kid you not, he kind of laughs and he goes, hey, brother, I believe in karma. I think I have my credit card written down over here. Let me go grab it. But I mean, awesome dude. And this guy's super successful too. And it's like awesome dude. But it shows you that what happens to so many salespeople is their mindset. And we're going to talk about this today on this podcast, the power of your mindset and everything like that. But you give up so soon. But not only do you give up, you're so afraid of being real. Mm-hmm. And so much of sales, stop trying to manipulate people, stop trying to trap people, and just be real.
Right.
Just come out and say it. It's not a tactic to go at this guy for the credit card and say, okay, I'm going to do this 3 steps to try to trap him into this corner. No, it's just going, hey man, I get it. When I get asked for a credit card as well, I kind of tense up as well myself and go, ooh, I'm not sure if I'm ready to purchase that. So just go on, hey, I get how you're feeling. Hey, I'm same way. Look, 9 times out of 10, when someone says they don't have their billing information, it usually means they want to tell me no, or they haven't made a decision, but they don't know how to tell me no because they want to be nice. And so it's just amazing when you see that in practice, and I'm laughing and smiling because when you go through it, you just realize, man, so often it's like you give up too soon. If I probably asked this guy 4 or 5 times, you give up too soon. And then 9 times out of 10, what happens is you're dancing around the point and you're not cutting to the brass tacks. You got to be real with people, and it's usually because you're weak-minded. You're nervous to whether it's, say the wrong thing, whatever it is. And what is it that Grant Cardone says all the time? He says something like, if you're scared to lose the deal, it's because your pipeline's not full, something like that.
Yeah.
So your pipeline's not full. But anyways, had to share that story because I'm out on the sales floor now. If you can't tell, I'm super energized.
There was a lesson there in terms of relentlessness.
Yes.
And that's going to segue into our guest today. He is Danny Morel. He is a coach, author and host of the Danny Morel Show, the internet's fastest growing
This guy's a beast.
real estate development podcast with close to 20 years experience in the industry as a coach, mentor, investor, and broker. Danny now runs a brokerage that is focused on the personal and professional development of his agents. In only 5 short years, our guest today has brought his company from 0 to $1 billion in annual sales. Danny, welcome to the podcast.
Guys, I just want to say thank you for having me. I hope we have a lot of fun together.
Danny, man, I am so excited to have you on. I really feel like I tell all my friends and my family, I was like, man, we're finally getting somewhere with Stay Paid.
Oh, we're so excited to have you on, man.
dude, because we're interviewing Danny Morel now. Like
You've been on our list.
Yeah, it's like you've been on our list forever. We got to be able to interview this guy. We have Tom Ferry coming up. So it's just like, I feel like, if you can't tell, I'm super energized to be able to interview you because I have been following you for a while now. I started following you on Instagram, I think, when you had like less than, I want to say 1,000 followers on Instagram. And I was just impressed. Yeah, I was impressed how fast you were able to grow your Instagram following, and then you started doing your conference, and this whole, your book came out, this Relentless, and everything you've done there. And I just want you to take a second and really, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, who's not following you, that should be following you, go ahead and kind of share your life story, the 30,000-foot view of how you got into real estate, what led you up to where you're at today.
When I was 14 years old, actually, my mother and father kind of split up, and my mother brought myself and my 2 younger brothers here from New York City to Southern California. And so that's where really I say, I stopped being a kid, because it was actually at 13 years old, my mother was so nervous to drive our little car that I had to start driving illegally at 13. Oh, wow. So if you could imagine, like, that's where the entire conversation of making sure that you're getting things done, removing your attachments to the fear of pressure, all of that went out the door for me. There were literally no options. And I would say step number 1 for anybody who's listening who wants to achieve anything in life is remove the options, completely remove the options. Anyhow, by 18, we were dead broke. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment. I looked around. I realized that nobody was coming to rescue me. Step number 2, no one is coming to rescue you.
That's great.
I just want to be very clear with that. No one is coming to rescue you.
There's no lottery going to happen.
It ain't happening. The only one that can rescue you is you, right? And I realized that. And I realized that in my particular family at the time, unfortunately, health wasn't a priority. Money wasn't a priority. People were just kind of like existing. And I wanted something better for myself. I wanted to get out of the crummy apartment. So I had the audacity to create a goal. And the goal was to buy my mom a house by the time I was 21 years old. I wanted to literally move my family out of the ghetto and in our area, which was we lived in a city called Rialto. So in Rialto, there's an area called Las Colinas. And that is like the Beverly Hills of our city. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, do it all the way. And that's where I want to be. So step number 3 was make sure you're clear with what you want and have a goal. And step number 4 is if you're going to do anything, do it the right way. Do it the right way. Go big. And so, and then at that moment, fear hit me because I thought, Danny, no one in your family even owns a house. Like, there was one family member that owned a house, and
wow.
If you're a Hispanic, you'll understand what I'm talking about right now. Like, in the Hispanic community, if someone is making a little bit of money, like, they're the evil one and they're the weird one, right? There's gotta be something wrong with them, right? And sure enough, I remember visiting that aunt's house, and I thought to myself, I don't see anything weird or evil about this at all. Like, I actually think this is beautiful, having a home. And that's where I just kind of decided at a very early age, like, I just wanted to be different than my current circumstance and my surroundings. And guys, fast forward to 21 years old, I bought my mom a house. I surprised her. We moved us out of by the time I was 27, I was making $1.5 million a year in real estate.
That is incredible, man.
Yeah, I was closing 150 deals a year, doing working 4.5 days a week.
Well, that right there is incredible. 4.5 days a week, which is not normal. Most real estate agents find themselves working 90 hours a week, it feels.
Here's what I do in life. look around at what everybody else is doing. And I just asked myself this question, and this is my internal process. I asked myself, is that the way you want to do it? Is that the way you want to live your life? And at the time when I did that in real estate sales, the answer was no. And it's my life's mission is to show real estate professionals that you really can earn more and work less. And it started by me proving it to myself. You see, when I was a real estate agent, I thought to myself, everyone else works 7 days a week. I don't want to work 7 days a week. I want to work 5. Everyone else only works with buyers. I don't want to work with buyers. They take up too much of my time. I only want to work with sellers. Everyone else has to sacrifice their family life for money. And I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. Everyone else sacrifices their health for money. I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. This is ass backwards to me. If making money causes you to sacrifice the things that should be most important to you, which are your health and your family and your time, that it's either A, I'm not going to be in the industry, or B, I'm going to find a better way to be in the industry.
Dude,
and
that's
that
a
was
golden nugget. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, that was my motivating factor. Until this day, it's my motivating factor in everything that I do. Because you see, human beings are programmed to struggle. They've been taught nothing but struggle. Matter of fact, for me, as a Hispanic American, quote unquote, that label was put on us, by the way, but that's a whole other story.
Preach it, brother. No.
Big bullshit. But, we just grew up with struggle. And so I had to realize that my grandfather came to this country just 2 generations prior to me. And I had to come to the conclusion that everything he believes and everything he saw is a reflection of his experience. I'm not going to allow my life to be controlled or my values to become my values because of some other human being's experience. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do as human beings. We go, okay, well, they said this and they said that, and this is what they achieved. Well, I guess that's what I can achieve, and I guess that's what I need to believe as well. And I'm telling you right now, I just decided that wasn't going to be me. I just decided in the area of health, I was going to come up with my own conclusions. In the area of faith, I was going to come up with my own conclusions. In the area of money, I was going to come up with my own conclusions. In the area of time, I was going to make up my own rules about how much I worked and didn't work. In the areas of relation, in the areas of everything, I come up with it. I'm the source. I'm the creator. I'm the being. I'm the one that was made in the image of God. And as a result, I've got the power to create whatever I want in my life. And I'm telling you this right now, when your listeners start understanding how powerful they really are, life will never be the same.
Whew.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Is that where this idea of relentlessness came from? This pursuit of being your own being or paving your own path?
I lost everything right after I'm making $1.5 million a year. And when I say everything, I'm telling you, you could tell I'm not a very depressed or shy or unmotivated kind of human. That's just not the way God made me, right? Well, I was depressed. I was flat broke. I went from making 100 and something thousand a month to $1,500 a month. That means I couldn't afford rent. That's how bad it got. And the beauty in that is that it was a humbling experience and it made me who I am today. Like if it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't be who I am here. So that's another lesson for your listeners, whether you're going through a bad breakup, whether you're going through a tough month, whether you're going through a devastating issue, whatever the case may be. The things that happen in our life happen because your higher being and your higher self, once you've decided to do something great, is molding you and shaping you to become the person that you want to become, And so when that happened, I started the real estate brokerage. I started in Intero, real estate services. And, we start growing and growing and growing and growing. And people all across the country, thanks to social media, are literally asking me like, hey, when can you help me? How can you help me? Like, when are you coming to our state or whatever the case may be? And I just used to say, no, we're not. No, I'm a very focused kind of guy. And one day I thought, you know what? I know I have the gift of teaching and inspiring people. Why am I limiting myself? Why don't I just host an event? And this is when no one was doing events, right? This is when the events were really hot. Now everybody and their mother has a damn event.
Yeah. We're going to have an event next year.
Yeah, you should, as long as it's done the right way. And I'm gonna give you guys some help with this. You got to understand what the purpose of the event is. You see, I'm going to say this, like, I love Grant. He's awesome and everything. But the purpose of the event is not to change lives. The purpose of the event is to sell you something. Let's make no mistake about it. Like, let's just get it out in the open, right? And if Grant were here right now, he'd say, yeah, that is the purpose. I just don't believe that should be the purpose.
I think he opens his event with that.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, there should be one purpose and one purpose only, for causing a human being to come join you for 2 or 3 days to sacrifice their time, their money, their family, and that is to change their lives, period. And that's why we all love going to Tony Robbins, because that your life is going to change if you go to Tony Robbins, right?
Yeah, I love that guy.
And so I decided to do that. I decided to do an event called Relentless. It started with 1 day, and we called it Relentless because at the time I was reading Tim Grover's book, Relentless.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, what if we can get Tim Grover to come? And sure enough, we got Tim Grover to come. And then the second year, it was a 1 day event, and it was Gary Vaynerchuk at the time was like, hot. And I thought, no one has ever got Gary Vaynerchuk to come to an event. So guess what? We got him to come to the event. And then the next year, A-Rod was like, oh my God, like, can you imagine if we got A-Rod to come to the event? Sure enough, we got A-Rod to come to the event. The next year, I thought to myself, son of a bitch, can you imagine if we got Kobe Bryant to come to the event? Sure enough, I cut the check. Kobe Bryant came to the event. That's the history of the event. Yeah, that's how it's been.
That is awesome. So relentless to you, what does that mean?
The word relentless meant to me that you are never ending. You never stop. You're always going for what you want, right? Here's the difference. That was prior to my spiritual journey that I had this year. That was prior to my life changing forever with my mom dying and my divorce. Those are two things that caused me to really look within my heart to understand who Danny Morel really is. And now it's the relentless pursuit of the truth and of understanding what you are really made of and capable of. It's no longer going after what you want. It's what you must have. And that's the difference, guys. You got to realize that we as human beings are programmed from the day we are born. We are told who we are and what we must have. So I'm born and I'm put a label is put on me, Hispanic. That's man-made. We're all one. We're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all one. We're all one creation. But a label is put on me, Hispanic. A label is put on me, male. I happen to learn what it means to be a male from the people around me. My grandfather had 13 different children from 15 different women. Get that? Or pardon me, 8 different women.
I was like, geez.
So right away, it's like I'm being taught what it means to be a male from someone that I am told I'm supposed to respect. Thank God that never jived well with me, and that wasn't who I wanted to become.
Wow.
I get another label put on me, Catholic. So I got to believe that. In other words, all of these labels are being put on us as we're born, and then on top of that, we're getting programmed through TV showing us what watch we need to buy, what car we need to be driving, where we need to spend our money on. We don't know who we are. We have no idea who we really are. The only thing we know is that we're trying to achieve this image of what the world is telling us we need to become. And so for me now, it's helping people unlock their true potential. It's helping them to see what they really must have. Because when it was about what I wanted to be a billionaire. Who the fuck told me I needed to become a billionaire? Well, society told me that I needed to become a billionaire. What the hell do I want to be a billionaire for? I don't know. I just know that I got to be a billionaire. Wait a minute. Why do you have to be a billionaire? Why a billion? Why not $500,000? Why not $500 million?
Right.
Why not $100 million? Why not? And that's where I started to realize, guys, that society plays into our ego's weakness and our emotional instability.
So
that's what society does.
How do you combat that?
I'll give you that in a second. But what you start to realize is a lot of the people we admire, a lot of the people that are out there on social media and so that have the 50 cars and the bling and the all this, I'm telling you right now, those are the most damaged and hurt human beings around because they need external things to make them feel good about themselves. And that was me. I had to have the big flashy Rolex. I had to have the Louis Vuitton bag. I had to have the gold glasses. Now I feel like a fucking idiot wearing that stuff. Honest to God, I really do. Because that's not me. That's not who I really am. You see, once you get really connected to the heart and once you get really connected to how powerful you are, you don't need anything external. You don't need anybody else, quite frankly. All you need is you. You. That's where I just want to help people get to. Because when you do that, the money, the health, all of that, problem solved. It becomes easy.
Yeah, it's so interesting because, take real estate, for instance, because that, is the industry that you've really been successful in, is that it's, 87% of real estate agents fail within 5 years, right? That's the statistic. But, I always tell people what's worse than that is the people who stay in. The average real estate agent's making $42,000 a year, according to the National Association of Realtors. And, once you take away the business expenses, you take away marketing, the dues, all that stuff, I mean, you're making minimum wage, less than minimum wage. That's not freedom. Right. And people are chasing freedom. And there's this roller coaster that every business owner and real estate agent goes on. And I guess what I would ask you is that, because I really, when Tony Robbins shared at one of the conferences I went to that you write the narrative of your life, that you've placed a story on you, that really impacted me of, hey, what story am I writing for my life? And, he gets really deep in how he goes into that. But, practically, so here I am listening to this podcast, right? Maybe I'm in my car. Maybe I'm in my room getting ready. Maybe I'm at work right now listening to this. What do I do practically to start finding out who I am and how to change, reprogram my mindset? And like, what have you found?
So what happened with me was my mother passed away. And my mother passing away really did something to me where I was just very spiritually disconnected. And one day I'm watching on Instagram stories, my buddy Gerard Adams. You guys know who that is?
Gerard Adams? Yeah, Gerard Adams, yeah.
Gerard Adams, he's I don't know where, he's doing some weird stuff in Costa Rica. And I see this big smile on his face like I've never seen before. And I there was something in my heart that thought to myself, I've never seen that look on his face before. Sure enough, 2 months later, he tells me that he had his first journey with ayahuasca, right? And the minute he said that, I said, I'm in. I'm in. Because you see, I had heard about ayahuasca 9 years earlier, but again, due to my programming that I had at the time, I dismissed it as being of something of the devil. Well, how do you know that if you haven't experienced it yourself? So I thought, so I was finally ready in my heart. I said, I in, and that's what helped heal my heart. That's what helped show me that I had been living my life through pain and through fear due to the fact that I was hurt as a child by my mother, which she didn't even know how she hurt me. The fact of the matter is that my mom's mom died the day after she was born. And so she didn't even know how to truly give me love because she didn't know how to love herself. And so since as a little child, I didn't experience love, guess where I had to find love through? Success and material items.
Yeah,
and that's like 90% of our planet, guys. And so, for example, I just got off a call with one of my coaching clients 30 minutes ago. And here's her call. Ready? She says, well, I had a great year. And I go, okay, great. Tell me about the year. She goes, I closed 28 transactions. I said, awesome. Good for you. That's a great year. I said, how much did you work? I said, I only work 20 hours a week. I go, beautiful. And she goes, and most importantly, I get to spend every day with my daughter. I go, good for you. That is awesome. She goes, well, yeah, there's something wrong. I said, what's wrong? She says, I just feel like I'm leaving money on the table. And that, you see, that's most humans are never satisfied. They never understand what makes them feel good because they've been taught struggle and that there's always a quote unquote next level. And I'm not telling anybody to think small. What I had to help this individual say is that's what you feel you want. What must you have? You'll never be able to put together a business plan. You'll never be able to put together a financial plan until you figure out what you must have to make you, Danny Morel, happy. What must I have? Well, this lady's name was Amanda. She said, all right, well, I must have $20,000 a month in excess income. I go, great. We ran the numbers. That means you only have to do this many deals a year. That's lower than I thought. I go, are you okay with that? But would that make you happy? Yeah, that would make me freaking excited. Yeah. And what if we could figure out a way to do that? And on top of that, you never have to not miss a moment of your daughter's life. And I had you at home by 2:00 every afternoon. She goes, would that be great? And what if on top of that, we can help you live a balanced life where you're healthy, you're maintaining your physical needs, you have a lot of energy and vitality. What happens there? Oh my, well, yeah, that would be great. Then can I ask you something, Amanda? Who cares what anybody else thinks? Does it make you happy? You, she says,
that's a golden nugget.
Yeah. And that's how it did. And I had to help rewire her thinking a little bit because she was not happy with her results. I'm telling you, you're living a dream. You're making $200,000 a year, working 20 hours a week, and you get to be with your daughter all day long. Are you crazy? That's a dream life.
I'm in.
I'm in. Nah, dude,
right?
that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And it's so interesting how I think like as people, like you don't want to open yourself up to the vulnerability of thinking about those things. So you constantly numb yourself with whatever, right? Whatever your thing is, whether it's success, work, anything. There's so many addictions out there that you numb yourself with. And the danger is, it's like when your fear is like when you open yourself up to vulnerability that you can't move. Like I think one of the reasons why, like, when I'm processing myself, hearing what you're saying, it's just like one of the reasons why you don't want to be vulnerable, because when you be vulnerable, you're almost allowing things into your life that you can't control. And because you can't control it, it's like you want to block it from coming in. So you don't want to be vulnerable. Have you found that being vulnerable gives you more control?
100%. So let me help you guys understand something. So we operate as business people, as human beings, whatever the case may be. We operate from one of two forces that control everything that we do and everything that we say and everything that we think. It's either love or fear. Love or fear. Now, I want you to understand something. I recently cut my cable. I no longer cut my cable. I no longer have cable. The reason why I no longer have cable is I started to realize how much TV programs me to make me think what it is that I have to have in life to feel good about myself. It was all programming. And then I met a guy who literally lives in a beautiful, nice little simple home. And he says, I noticed, hey, I said, there's not a TV here. He says, of course not. And he says something I'll never forget. He says, and I said, why? He says, because he who reads books will always control he who watches TV.
Dang, dude.
Think about, for example, think about our beautiful women out there. Think about our beautiful women out there in society who every single day are watching Housewives of Beverly Hills or Housewives of this or Housewives of that. See, they're being taught, they're being projected this image of what they need to be and what they need to look like and what success means. And then look at all our beautiful women who are on Instagram right now. You don't see smiles. You don't see genuine love. You see, please, men, give me attention, please. That's pain. That's pain. What about our men? What about our men who literally, you look at them on Instagram and they're wearing sunglasses because they don't want you to see their eyes because there's pain back there. Or they have to take a picture with a Ferrari or 2 or 3, or they got to take a picture with a jet. I just see pain when I see that. But the pain comes from the programming. And so what I'm trying to say is this: how do you attach this to business? Is step number 1, you got to get clear with who you are and what you really want for you and your family. What are the boundaries? What are the standards you must have? And then step number 2, you stick to your plan, not anybody else's plan that's been put on you. You got to create a financial plan for you, and the sales are simply the means to the end. The sales are going to get you the finances that will help you accomplish what you need in your financial life so that you can have peace, freedom, happiness, and joy inside.
So how do you balance then this hustle mentality with happiness?
There is no hustle mentality. I don't believe in hustle mentality.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, how do you, because that's the culture, right? Work harder, work, like hustle more. How do you balance that? Yeah, grind it out. Like, how do you balance work ethic and happiness? Like that lady who wants to make $200,000 a year and work 20 hours a week. I mean, so many people want that, right? But then there's this whole thing of, well, you have to put in the work to get there. Like, how do you coach that?
Do you want a lifestyle or do you want a work style? Work style is somebody who works 20 hours a week or more. Lifestyle is somebody who works 20 hours a week or less. Work style, and please listen carefully. Work style, we have people in our country right now who are working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. That leads to stress. Stress leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to disease. It's a beautiful business plan if you think about it. Get us to work our asses off to buy things that we don't need or really even want, to eventually get sick so we can pump you full of shit that your body doesn't need, all because you're coming from a fear consciousness. Or if you could just detach for a second
that's some
and
deep
decide,
stuff right there.
I want to have a lifestyle. It's what I did without even realizing it, guys, when I was in real estate. See, I said, I'm going to close 100 deals a year. However, I'm going to do that without working weekends. You see, now we're talking. People need to be able to understand that they've got the power to have it all. But I don't think we have the power to have it all.
But how do you like, because I'm thinking like, okay, I agree. So what did that look like? How did you get 150 freaking deals with 4 days a week? Like, that seems really hard.
It starts with step number 1. You got to understand, everybody, that there are 2 things that you should be working on that nobody works on: your mindset and your sales skills. That's it. Guys, you could give me any objection you can imagine. I'll handle it. Commission, price, lockbox. I'm thinking about what, and it's all step-by-step programmed in my brain. What do I say first? How do I answer to the response? What happens if I come over here? What happens if they say that? I'll bring you right back over here to the close. Everything is done because I spent 3 years of my life at the beginning working on my sales skills. I don't wing anything. I know exactly. You see, but here's the problem. Most real estate or salespeople or business owners, they just wing everything. Nobody is willing to put in the time or pay for the coaching necessary to be taught by master salespeople because we're afraid. Why won't you pay for coaching if you're listening to me right now? Right. It's very simple. It's very simple because in your brain, you're wired to think that hard work means success. I think the opposite. I think that leverage means success. So I'd rather invest in and hire a coach because that coach could teach me listen, I don't mean this to brag. I've told coaching clients of mine one thing, and that one thing was worth more to them than 10 years of their effort. And the proof is in the pudding because I've got people who are making 4 times the money with half the work now, and they're losing weight. But you see, human beings don't understand the power of that, because human beings are wired to think, I got to go out there and work hard to make money. No, you work hard to fix your mindset and your sales skills so that in the future you can leverage that and teach other people to do that. That's how you work less and earn
So
more.
did you do that on your own in the beginning? Like, were you putting in 20-hour weeks in the beginning, or were you doing the 70-hour weeks to get to the point where you can show others how to do it?
Yeah, man, of course. I worked 7 days a freaking week. Worked maybe 70 hours a week for the first 2 to 3 years. Yeah, absolutely. But I put in the work not just to make the money, to better myself. And that's what people are missing. That's what people
I
are
love
missing.
that. I pointing that out to the audience because, you know, having a vision for where you want your life to be and then paying the price today to get there is so powerful from the perspective of, it's like Stephen Covey's, rule, begin with the end in mind, meaning like so many people believe that the key to success is just hustle and just hard work, which is what Danny's saying is, so you'll burn out. You're getting into the fundamental truth, man, of human beings. Like, I mean, I love it. I think, the advice I always give to people is, look, it's what is your worldview? Right. And, this podcast is not a philosophy podcast. Right. But the truth is, it's like, what is your worldview? Every human being has a worldview. How you see the world, how you see morality, how you see all these things. And but what you're getting at and where I'm going with this is why it's so critical is because how you view the world, how you think. If you're a fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, man, this guy's awesome because he's like a neuroscience guy and all this stuff. He's amazing. How you see the world. That's how you think. And your thoughts are the language of your mind. Your emotions come out from your thoughts. The emotions are the language of the body. And so what happens is your worldview dictates how you think, and how you think dictates how you act, and how you act dictates the results you get. And all of a sudden you're in this circle, right, man? You're in this circle. And so what you're getting at, and for some people it might be hard for them to grasp, but it's the deepest truth of humanity. It's how do you view the freaking world, and how you view the freaking world.
Yourself in it. How do you?
Yes, your identity, man. Are you a fan of Ed Milet?
Oh yeah, he's my buddy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, freaking! Oh, you got to hook me up with Ed Milet, man. I love this guy. This guy is unreal. Like he said something one time, was just like, "You'll never surpass the identity you have for yourself." And I was like, "Bam! Oh, that freaking hit me in the dude. That freaking hit me in the heart." I was like, "Yeah, you'll never surpass that identity, that worldview you have for yourself, how you view yourself in that worldview."
You see, power used to be what I wanted. Power used to be what I needed. Because power brought me attention, which made me feel better about myself. All I'm trying to say is when you go deep into the underlying issue of why you even need that power, that's where you'll find the real answer, and that's where you'll find peace.
Whew.
I'm telling you right now, without that, you'll be searching for. So what's the next step? Being the president of the United States?
Right. Yeah.
How much more powerful?
You'll never.
Yes or yes. Think about Bill Clinton. Think about Donald Trump. Think about these people who they just constantly want power. And now, let's get real. That's an alpha male, right? That's an alpha male. I'll tell you right now, an alpha male can never keep a woman happy.
Dude, we could have a whole podcast on that.
Well, no, I'll tell you the truth. Because guess what? The woman secretly knows that the male doesn't want her. The male wants power. An alpha male has to control. They don't know how to love. I'm telling you, I didn't know how to love. This was me. Because there was pain in it. You see what I'm trying to say? I'm just admitting it to you. Yeah. So eventually, a woman loses vitamin T with an alpha male. What's that? Trust.
Yeah.
Dude, trust. It is like, it's so funny. We're going to have you back, Danny. Like, it is like, I feel like there's so
just
much.
Come to Relentless.
Yes, I'm going to have to. But dude, can we come to Relentless and do a live podcast at Relentless? Dude, not on stage or anything. I wouldn't make you do that. But like, maybe you'll be like so busy that, but doing a podcast at Relentless would be amazing. But there's so much knowledge here. But what I love about this podcast is like we spend so often on Stay Paid talking about the tactics and in the systems, right? And the things. All these things won't produce anything for you if you don't first get yourself right.
Yeah.
Because, it's like you can't help anybody else until you get yourself in a position where you can actually help people.
You can't help lead other people. It's not just about this. It's about understand. Like, I could talk to a prospect. I could talk to an expired listing. And I could talk to any prospect and I could feel what they're feeling. And now I can connect with people. And now I can use sales skills to help guide them into a buying decision.
That's a golden nugget.
Yeah. But you got to be able to first help yourself first in order to do that.
Yeah.
But
people are programmed, going back to your programming thing, people are programmed, myself included, to where you feel wrong first taking care of yourself, first helping yourself. You almost feel selfish.
And honestly, guys,
that's the Protestant upbringing, right?
Yeah, that might be the Protestant.
That's the Southern Baptist.
That's the Southern Baptist upbringing.
Yeah.
But that, you feel like, oh man, I'm thinking about myself. I'm not thinking about others. And it's just like you can't help others if you're in a state of depression. You just can't. Right. You can't, dude. You can't. Danny's laughing at me now, man.
No, I'm laughing because I want to start saying but it's just too fucking deep. Everybody will just have to. I just don't want to. Everything you just said, if you guys want to rewind that, all of that was by design. I'll leave it at that.
No, you got to explain that. You got to explain that.
Man, my mind's like turning.
You can't stop
right
there.
Now. It's like I'm freaking programmed.
We're not shutting this podcast off yet. Yeah. Design of what?
But you're saying design of my culture, my upbringing, the influence of people. He's like laughing at us.
He's like, you idiot.
The Stay Paid boys.
Remember, it's either fear or love. Either fear or love. And so why don't we want to work on ourselves? It's either fear or love. It's been programmed. It's been programmed in us.
It's fear that someone would, like, I can only speak for myself here, but it's fear that someone would think that you're selfish, right? It's fear of what others might think of you there. It's fear of what might. But
can I tell you what else it's fear of?
Yep.
It's your own fear of finding out how really powerful you really are.
Can you give the sound effect of a bomb right now? Yes, thank you. Dude, that is what it is, brother. Hey, man, I got to ask you this question. Like, self-development, like chasing the best version of yourself, it's where I want to be. It's what I wake up every day and I'm seeking. It's why we're doing this podcast. It's like, how do I become a better version of myself? How do I fulfill the calling of my life, right? And I love asking everybody, there's no magic formula to success, but I really, truly believe there's principles, and you can see those principles in the routines of what successful people do. And I'm just, curious, like, as you look back on your life and what you've learned, and you're extremely successful. I mean, your company did $1 billion in sales. That's unbelievable in the world's eyes of success, right? And I'm just curious, like, but what's more important to me than that even is that you seem to have so much peace and joy and so much purpose as you talk. And I'm just curious, what are the routines that you do? What is it that you have found to be successful for you?
I'll give you answer number one, what I did as a producing agent and what we teach people to do. And answer number two, what I currently do now based off of my current state of being. So answer number one, back in the day, number one, you have to wake up every single morning at a predetermined time. You have to. And then number two, you got to follow that up with a workout every single day. Because again, this is where you start learning how powerful you are. This is where you start loving yourself enough to take care of your own body. And when you do that for yourself, you can help other people to do that. Number three, you got to start getting to the office at a predetermined time. Because if you don't, you won't teach yourself the discipline that you need to have in order to win at business in a big way. And then you'll never be able to teach other people how to see. Again, everything you got to think long term. Everything you got to think scale. If I can't do it for myself, how the hell can I teach other people to do it? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But most business people don't think that. Most people think business people have one thought: how can I get a check so I can pay my bills and survive?
Right.
That's a fear-based consciousness. A love consciousness says, what can I do, and how could I do it in a way that will allow me to duplicate it and teach other people how to do it? Like, I love myself enough that I don't want to be doing this forever. but I'll pay the price so that in the future, I can look back on these moments and I could say, wow, hey, I can help you do that. That's called leadership. That's called leverage. That's called developing a business based off of values and principles that you can teach other people. Okay. So what do I do today? It is rare a day that I don't start my day with meditation, number one. Because you have all the chatter and all the voices and everything that everybody else puts inside of you, especially even yourself, that I start my day with meditation every single morning. It's what grounds me. It's what reminds me who I am. It's what allows me to tap into my higher self. Number two, I do breath work every single morning. So it's a combination of working on your mind and working on your heart, right? Number three, I do some sort of physical exercise every single morning. I happen to split them up. I do an AM prime, which is priming my body, and a PM prime, which is priming my body, because the endorphins your body releases only last 8 hours. I'm a young man right now. I want to have great energy into the evening. And so I do a PM prime as well. And I'll explain to you what that is in a second. So now you've worked on your mind, your emotions, and your body. Okay. And then I do hydrotherapy, which I hop in the shower and I just turn the water from hot to cold to make sure that I shock my system a little bit. And now, man, I'm awake. I don't need coffee. I don't need pre-workout. I don't need supplement. I don't need any of the garbage that you've been taught you need. I do it for myself. I provide it for myself, right?
But I really like coffee.
Listen, you got to understand something. You got to understand, for both men and women, we don't understand this, but it's doing something. I'm drawing a blank right now, but what's the thing? The prostate. It's affecting your prostate, and coffee does negative.
Wait, are you serious?
Don't tell me this, Dan.
Yeah,
what about Monster
dude,
Energy
he
drinks?
drinks like 17 coffees a day.
Wait a minute. You drink Monster?
No,
yeah,
he does.
I
This
do.
guy
Yeah,
does.
I was trying to get a sponsorship from Monster, but I know it's killing you,
Look,
dude.
Please, look, grab that. I will not. Honestly, hide it. I didn't even realize that was there. Hide it, or I can't even keep it. Please, I don't even want to see it.
It's not really Monster. It's a fake Monster. It's all your
I
mind.
don't give a damn if that was Coca-Cola or Gatorade or anything, people. Listen,
I shouldn't have
your
said
body
anything.
needs water. You don't need shit. You're putting shit in
No,
your body.
dude, he's right, though.
You're
I've
spot
been
on.
really trying to
Man.
break the Monster, just so everybody knows listening to the podcast, the amount of people, and this is probably the moment in my life, but the amount of people that have told me, you've got to stop that Monster.
I do not put anything on my body that is not organic. Anything.
Dude, Luke, is this the last day?
No.
No, this isn't.
Okay, yes. I don't know.
We're putting Luke on the spot. Are you willing to quit Monster Energy
I am
drinks?
willing to quit Monster Energy drinks.
I have gone off coffee, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm not like I need to get off it as well. This is a very convicting
Have you
podcast.
gotten off coffee?
Yeah, I have. I have
Dude,
gotten
I
off
didn't know
coffee.
that about
It's the
you,
hardest
man.
part's just the withdrawal in the beginning.
I did not know.
But yeah,
that.
once you get off coffee and sugar and stuff,
Yeah.
you do not
Yeah.
need it to have energy. Your body
No.
will give you the energy you need.
No.
100%.
I want people to live long, healthy, prosperous, loving lives and make as much money as you possibly want. And I'm just like, I gotta share. So,
Dude, I love that, brother, man.
I challenge you guys in any way. It's just I want you to be around forever. you
Dude,
know?
I
No,
love that,
I'm
brother,
thankful
man.
for this
Yeah,
podcast.
seriously. Yeah, no shame there. I love that. What would you go back and tell younger Danny? You know, if you could go back and tell that 12-year-old boy or whatever, 13-year-old, what would you go tell him? What advice would you give?
I would say don't create your values or your identity based off of what other people tell you, because you're not becoming yourself. You're becoming what other people tell you you should become. And I would tell that little boy, I would say, go within yourself, find out who you are first, find out what you must have in your life, and then go out and build your life that way. Because if I would have done that, I wouldn't have spent half the money on half the garbage that I spent. I'd be 10 times wealthier. And the answer, guys, is within. It's within. You got to learn to trust yourself. That's what I would tell myself.
Well, Danny, I know that your mission, you said it on the podcast, is really to change people's lives. And I don't think it would be presumptive of me to say people listening to this will be changed after listening to this podcast.
I agree, man.
Thank you very much for coming on. Before we close, I guess let people know how they can follow you. I know you've got Relentless coming up in April. I'm not sure if there'll be opportunities for tickets still by then.
So I would say Instagram is basically where I enjoy interacting with other people as much as possible. And then my event, relentlessevents.com. will be April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And it's a 3-day event. People have literally quit smoking. I've got a guy. Here's my greatest testimony. He quit smoking. He lost 70 pounds. He went from working 7 days a week to 5 days a week, and went from making $100,000 a year to $400,000 a year.
That is so good.
And we thought kicking Monster was might be an accomplishment.
Jeez, dude. That is so good.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. To dive deeper into this episode, get the video and any of the links that we mentioned there. You can go to staypaidpodcast.com for those show notes. If you're interested in supporting the show, 2 ways that we ask you to do that. First is head on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment. That helps us move up the charts and get more recognition. And the best way is to tell a friend and share this episode on social media. You can check out Luke and I on at Stay Paid Podcast. You can reach us at Stay Paid Podcast on Instagram or podcast at remindermedia.com. For this episode, I am Joshua Stike.
Guys, and I'm Luke Acree. We always like to close the podcast with an action item that you can do. And I think, this whole podcast, you can just sit there and listen, and the convicting action item is to look at, hey, what is your story that you've written on your life? And, when you think about the happiness, that, you want to experience, and Danny was so passionate in how he was sharing that you have been pre-programmed to believe so many things about yourself, what you can accomplish, what you're supposed to be. And I just challenge you to take some time to literally sit there and reflect, meditate. And then, from an actionable standpoint, there's some things that he shared, and I've never done this before on a podcast, but taking someone's routines and making it the action item. I think he is so spot on of setting a predetermined time that you're going to wake up, setting a time that you're going to show up in the office. Doing those things are so powerful. And I heard it said one time that, when you hit your snooze button, you're now out of control. You're out of control. You've given the control to your body. You've given the control to the alarm clock, all those things. It's like when you start getting in control of your life and control of the times you wake up, the times you get to the office, all those things, there's so much power there. So remember this, the difference between a top producer and a mediocre producer in every single industry we've worked in. We work in over 160 industries now. Every single industry. Top producers take action. Don't just listen to this podcast and do nothing. Listen to this podcast, take a golden nugget, put it into action, start changing your life. Take action on that today.